And now I want to turn it over to Dr. Eric Miller, who is our keynote speaker. Eric was formerly a senior research scientist at OCLC Online Computer Library Center in Dublin, Ohio, back in the late 90s, early mid-90s, when Dublin Core started. And he was actually the co-founder and associate director of the Dublin Core Metadata Initiative. And since then, he's been a leading thinker in the area of metadata and the semantic web. He moved on from OCLC to MIT and was leading the Semantic Web Initiative at the World Wide Web Consortium until 2007, when he went off and started his own business, Zafira, which he has been doing since then. He's done a number of things there, some of which you are probably familiar with. He partnered with the Library of Congress to develop BibFrame, and then he's currently involved with an initiative called the LibHub Initiative, which is taking BibFrame out to a set of tools that can be used for future activities. So I'm going to turn it over to Eric. Oh, nice welcome, thank you.
So it reminds me of Weibull.
Exactly. So one of the things that Stu Weibull used to do at every conference was basically take a picture, and we had these at every speaking engagement early on for the early Dublin Core. Basically, these just different mosaics of watching the different groups basically, sort of form that was coming from all sorts of different things. And what was actually interesting was the sort of just the diversity of the audience in terms of just where people were coming from, coupled with the jet laggedness of where people were coming from. But it was one of the really great ways of sort of just connecting with different folks and sort of seeing the commonality that sort of existed from one meeting to another. It's actually when I was trying to basically think about what to talk about today. For an opening talk, you want to sort of touch on at a certain level the themes of the particular conference, which I think you're spot on. Again, bringing all the right people together from a wide range of different communities, from a wide range of different perspectives, from a wide range of different experiences, locking them in a room and seeing what happens. This has actually been one of the tenets of the Dublin Core, and we've been very successful because of that. And in fact, what was actually really exciting is sort of looking past over the past 20 years, the sort of interesting constants that have sort of permeated across this. I mean, one of the things that's actually quite was quite novel at the time, and is still sort of continued, was a tremendous amount of these breakout groups, because the actual meetings that got started were done by not in the formal environments, but in the informal hallway conversations, where in fact all of the interesting meetings were going. But 20 years ago, that wasn't a norm. Dublin Core, as an institution, as a group, we sort of made this as part of the early unconference days. So I'm not going to do this, you've already seen this. But I want to talk a little bit about, in the context of Dublin Core, and in the context of the web, and in the context of the themes we've been talking about, a talk in three parts. I'm going to talk a little bit about the past, I'm going to talk a little bit about the present, I'm going to talk a little bit about the future. So, a little bit about the past. For whatever reason, this year seems to be the big year where everyone wants to think about anniversaries. I don't quite understand this, but 25 years ago, Tim Berners-Lee sketched up this proposal that became the web. In March, a few months ago, that was the 25th anniversary of the genesis of the web. This document was the basis for that. And it was sort of stapled to the walls at MIT for a while, and the little marginalia in the upper right-hand corner is appropriate. For those that can't read it in the background, it's basically a bit of notation from, at that time, Tim's boss, which basically, after reading it, said, vague but exciting. And that vague but exciting, now, 25 years later, we can't imagine the web. We can't imagine being without the web. Our children have grown up, and this is just a permanent part of how they basically, do school, do research, share information. But 25 years ago, we were in this situation where, because we didn't have that in our mindset, we were comparing it to the things that we knew. We were comparing it to systems that we were familiar with. That exciting aspect